to Tom James. Good chance. Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Tom James! Oh, that was special.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. Mood is high here in E10 after that late dramatic win over Northampton on Tuesday night, and it's Burton who we're facing and looking to continue our fine form as we go on the hunt for the playoffs. I don't know if we'll call it that just yet, but looking to keep that fine form up. And I'm delighted today to not only be joined by Brendan Pitcher, but we've got a very special guest in the shape of Gaughan Graham as well. Gaughan, welcome to the studio. We'll start the show off just by checking in. How's that knee injury going?
Yeah, it's going good. Firstly, thank you for having me back. I really enjoyed my first appearance on here, so it's really good to be back. Yeah, the knee is healing really well, actually, really well. I'm at a point now where I'm doing we've upped the level of work that I can do in the gym now. So it's difficult, it's harder, it's a graft every day, but I kind of knew that was the case. I prepared myself for it, and I think I got through the hardest stage, which was the first 8 weeks really after surgery. So during that period of time after surgery, I was begging to be here, so I won't complain now that I am here. It's difficult, but yeah, I'm loving the challenge, and healing is healing really well, and I think it's probably healing a little bit quicker than most people expected, which is really good news.
Top stuff, and back at the training ground in and amongst the lads day in, day out. Must be, I mean, kind of bittersweet watching how well we've been doing and not being able to get involved with it.
Bang on, yeah. It's nice to be back at the training ground every day, seeing the lads, seeing the staff, obviously being around it, being back in the meetings and stuff, all the stuff that I miss doing. Just the last little bit is training, which will come in time. But yeah, it's nice to be back around it. As you say, it's bittersweet because it's difficult getting to training, greeting the lads, and then going into physio room and having to watch them go outside, put their boots on. But you know, I think all good things happen to those that work hard and wait. So yeah, fingers crossed, it'll all be worth it in the end.
And what was the mood like on Wednesday morning? I don't know if you were in for training then, but after Tuesday night, players must have still been buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, if tired could be a mood, I think that was probably what it was. Yeah, definitely the lads were drained physically and emotionally. I think it was a hell of an end to a game, but I think it's one of those results that you come to the end of the season and you look back and go, it was really important that we ended up picking up those 3 points. You come to a game, it leads us into a game today against Burton, who are, in my opinion, definitely beatable for us in the form that we're in. And a win today, and you look back at those 3 points Tuesday night, and they're massive. So yeah, the mood was good. I think once they got over the fatigue side of it, I think they were excited for the game of the weekend today. And
let's just stay on Tuesday night a little bit, Brendan, because probably one of the best in terms of entertainment, excitement. It had everything. I still am buzzing off of it, and it was one of those classics that we've spoken about for years, and that will help drag us into today's game a little bit more. That fixture build-up's been big, so we're going to need that to keep mood high.
Yeah, I think we spoke a lot last season about how we didn't score many late goals because we were so comfortable, and we saw games out and won 2-0. This season we've had quite a few late winners. I think Tuesday night was probably the best and most dramatic in terms of it being in front of the home crowd in the scenario where we absolutely deserved to win that game. We were the better side, and I think, as Jordan said, everyone's going to be quite tired, everyone's going to be a bit leggy. We're coming to this end of this run of games where you're playing Saturday and Tuesday every week, but that late win on Tuesday could make all the difference in terms of just keeping the mood up, keeping the momentum going, and we can go into this one really hot on the tails of teams above us.
And looking at Burton then, they're in and around that drop zone. New management since we last played them. It's a good opportunity. Jordan obviously sounded confident that we could go out and get 3 points. It does feel like it's a really good opportunity to kick on.
Yeah, we're obviously looking at higher up into the playoffs as an ultimate goal. If we're going to do that, we've got to win obviously a lot of games, and especially games like this at home to sides who are down there and struggling. And I think if Richie's looking and the coaching team, they're ticking off the games, you're looking at this one as we're absolutely targeting 3 points if we want to be in amongst where we want to be.
Right, then we're going to take a look at the teams very shortly, but before we do that, it's time to hear from the main man, the gaffer, Richie Wellens.
And Burton to come, as you say, a tricky opponent. I think their game was called off on Tuesday, and they're under new management as well. So what can we expect from them?
Well, a fresher team, a team that I watched probably, I think it was Martin's first game away at Derby. Doggett stayed in the game, didn't allow Derby too many opportunities. Very reminiscent. I know he was part of the staff with Michael Duff at Cheltenham, so very reminiscent of the way that they play the 5-3-2. Decent size in the team. You got a good midfield players who can handle the ball. Helm's a goal threat. Physical. And I have to say that the games that I've seen, they're working very, very hard for the manager.
Top stuff there from Richie, and I'm sure he's confident as well for another 3 points this afternoon. Let's take a look at the side that he's opted for to try and get all 3 points. And it is a couple of changes as Jordan Brown drops out, suspended, and Tom James is on the bench with a tight groin. But in between the six is the main man, it's Sol Bryn. In the back four, Ethan Galbraith, who's been superb at right back of late, and he keeps his spot there. In the two centre-back positions is Omar Beckles and Brandon Cooper, and as I said, replacing Tom James is Rob Hunt in at left back. The captain returns to the side. He's wearing the armband today as well. It's Darren Pratley, and he's partnering Idris El Mazouni. Another man who's been in fine form, it's George Moncur. And then the three attackers leading the line today is Shaq Ford, Ollie O'Neill, and Arsenal loanee Keon Edwards. And on the bench for the O's is Sam Howes, Tom James, Jaden Sweeney. The double goal scoring substitute from Tuesday, is Ruel Sotirio. We have Danadu Ajay. Max Sanders also returns from his injury, and Charlie Pegram takes the last spot on the bench. So, I mean, it's surprising really that we've only had to make 2 changes, considering how thick and fast the games have been, that the drama from Tuesday night, we've been forced into those 2 changes. But the boys out there must just be running on adrenaline at this point, running on empty.
Yeah, it's difficult. I can imagine it's really difficult at this time because, I think I remember Richie saying in an interview not too long ago, he was talking about how in January that you feel like there's hardly any games and you've got time and there's breaks in between and the players feel really well rested, and then all of a sudden you get into Feb and it's like you go Saturday, Tuesday, it almost becomes relentless. And that can be difficult for the staff of not just Orient, but the staff of all the clubs in League One and the Champions League 2 to really try and find the balance of getting the training load right so that when the spike does come, it doesn't cause too many injuries. And it's never easy. But, I always say there's always like a silver lining in these type of situations, and that is the boys that are coming in have chances to claim places to start in a team that's doing really well. I mean, every single one of those players that are available in that squad, whether you're starting or you're not, in any of these upcoming games, want to be playing. So, now Brownie's had his 2-game suspension, there's going to be an opportunity for someone else. Tej obviously misses out today with a tight groin, there's a chance for Hunty to come in and play. You don't get many opportunities to play when a team's doing really, really well. So when you do get those chances, you want to take them and you want to claim your shirt. So I think a lot of the boys out there today will be playing with a lot of hunger inside them to keep their place for next week against Oxford.
And starting with the first change really of Rob Hunt coming in for Tom James. He's Mr. Reliable every week. He came on and he looked good on Tuesday night. You've got no concerns really when Rob Hunt's coming on to step in, do you?
No, he knows what Rich expects down to a T. He was a key player for us last season, has been playing pretty regularly this season, so he'll come in, he'll be up to speed. He provides that kind of technical ability that I think Richie really likes from his fullbacks in terms of being able to receive the ball, being comfortable on it, and he's just really, first and foremost, a solid defender. So yeah, no qualms about him coming in to replace Tom James at all.
The interesting part though, Jordan, is in this team the fullbacks are so key to how we play and how we get forward. Ethan Galbraith and Tom James on Tuesday night were crucial for getting the ball up the pitch and getting involved. They both come inside and get so involved. Ethan Galbraith, though, let's give him some credit because he's been a real revelation at right back in recent games and been key to our good form as well.
He has, yeah. Eth's been brilliant. Eth is, I think he's a wonderful footballer. Ever since I signed, I thought that really, really high technical ability, really good IQ, sees the game well, passes the ball well. He's fit as a fiddle. There's not many things that I have bad to say about Ethan as a footballer, to be honest. He's a great lad as well, and I think that this almost inverted role that he's now got at fullback is helping the team in so many different aspects. You know, some of the runs that he makes when he comes inside frees up for the eights to roll out, and it creates space and confusion for the opposition, and they don't know whether they should track Ethan's run, and then all of a sudden Idy or Brownie are normally there, and I think they've created a really good bond, you know, the back four, the midfield two, the midfield three of late, and I think, yeah, Ethan's been sensational. I think TJ is pretty similar but kind of different. Similar but different is kind of strange, you know. He's probably not as mobile as Eth and makes as many runs as Eth, but technically he's one of the best players I've played with, right foot, left foot. So when he gets the ball deep, there's so many options. There's the diags that you can hit, there's breaking lines that you can, both feet, it's hard to read. And when you've got that technical ability as a fullback, it's a nightmare for the opposition because you don't really know how are we going to play against Ethan and TJ at fullback, because we kind of know what they're going to do, but it's one thing knowing it and it's another thing stopping it. So they've created a real good bond. So, but like you said, talking about Hunty earlier, a fantastic pro, really good footballer, really good lad, knows the gaffer really well, and takes information on really well. So he'd have been watching these games of late and will understand what his role needs to be in a game like today. And I think, like you said, I have no issues slotting into this team perfectly.
And in terms of that fullbacks being so crucial to the game, is that feels, I don't know, it feels like maybe it's become a bigger part of how we play in recent weeks and in this recent good form. Would you put anything down to that?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think there's been times where Richie's experimented with the fullbacks coming inside and inverting, but I think it's really become a mainstay since the turn of the year, perhaps, and Ethan has made that role his own in the right back spot, and like Jordan says, it adds a whole new dimension to our play. It's something that you kind of, I imagine Richie has taken from the absolute top level, someone like Pep or Mikel Arteta in the Premier League, and it replicates well at this level as long as you've got the players that can play it. And like Jordan says, Ethan Galbraith is a top player technically for this level, and he can slot into this role really, really well.
He certainly can. And it helps when you've got an organised team around you, of course, and when you've got Idris El-Mazouni in there, Darren Prattley stepping in for Jordan Brown today. But they're two very good midfielders that played most of the games in League Two last season and won the league. So, you know, there's a good solidity to the midfield today, it feels.
Very good solidity, yeah. Prats and Idy are really close as well off the pitch, which always helps. I think when you've got that bond and that connection off the pitch, it always, you know, you could translate on the pitch. So that's, I've got no problems with that at all. I think, yeah, Idris has been fantastic in the last, I think especially 4 or 5 games. I think I remember watching the Port Vale game on the Tuesday night where he was ridiculous. Really good. Looked like the Idy that I know he can be, and that's why sometimes Idy's a bit frustrating for me, because I watch him and I think there's so much, I just want to shake him because I know what he can produce week in, week out. But I think you're right, as of late he's started to really step on the gas, and he looks like one of the best midfielders in the league to me right now.
And while we're talking about that defensive unit, those two midfielders in front of the back four, obviously you've got Omar Beckles and Brandon Cooper in at those centre-back positions. But from a defensive point of view, 2 late goals at Barnsley, 3 goals to admittedly probably only about 3 shots on target on Tuesday night. That's 5 goals in just over 90 minutes of football. Richie said about the amount of football that's being played is contributing to maybe these late goals being scored, the amount of goals being conceded. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Do you expect to just see a lot of goals because the schedule's been so relentless of late?
I think it plays a part. I think especially the way we want to play in recent weeks, where we really do press high up the pitch and try and win the ball up high, and you have to work so hard to do that it will inevitably, they'll leave gaps when players get tired, or there's people aren't shifting over quick enough. Little things like that, just little mental lapses can cause goals. So yeah, I think it does play a part. I think it's not a massive concern. I think you look at those 5 goals individually and they can all be kind of explained away in different ways. I think you look at Barnsley and it absolutely was just tiredness in terms of we just couldn't get out of our own half at times, and so unlike a Richie team, and it was unfortunate. And then like you say, Northampton, the first goal is just an absolute worldie from outside the box, and then the other 2 are perhaps you can do a little bit more, but we really limited them to, like you say, only 3 shots on target. So it's not a massive cause for concern, but like you say, if you feel like if we're going to concede goals, they're going to come later on because of just the pure fatigue, and there's not really a great deal you can do about that.
Now let's come on to Orient in the attacking sense as well. And I'm glad we've got a winger with us today. And also, if anyone's seen Brendan play a Sunday League game, he's an exemplary winger as well. So we've got a panel of experts today. But we've got to talk about Ollie O'Neill because, my word, man of the match on Tuesday. Horrible news about Theo with his operation that's required. And we wish him all the best, of course. It looks as though Ollie O'Neill is ready and waiting to fill that spot, though.
It does, yeah. It's almost like a case of where it was meant to be really for Ollie, because he came in and he was kind of on the fringes because Shaq was doing well and Theo was playing well, and then obviously the really unfortunate news that Theo's had, which was obviously difficult for him to take, and we've been having conversations about that. But like I said earlier when I spoke about the silver linings in situations, this is Ollie now, and I think he looked really good Tuesday night against Northampton. Really, really good. I think to be honest, I think he'll only get better. If that was his first game, he's still got so much more to give. I think once his confidence gets even, the fans start taking to him more, and starts to score a few more goals, I think he can offer a hell of a lot to the team. So I think it's a great addition. I just think with all, like we spoke about earlier, with all these fixtures coming up now and him not playing so much first team football, as long as we're able to manage him and manage his load and stuff. For example, using Shaq's come into the team and he's done so well, and he's just gone from not really playing too much to now starting every game after game after game, and these fixtures can be tricky. So the load and the management of those key players for us will be really important. If we keep those two fit, I think they'll do really, really well for us until the end of the season.
Let's see the clips of his performance on Tuesday night. Then he got a goal, got an assist. He was key.
Yeah, he was brilliant out on that left-hand side, and I think he's really growing into this team. Like Jordan says, he's got the confidence, he's gaining that understanding with his teammates, and I think he had a couple of sub-appearances. Then he had the game against Barnsley where he looked bright without creating a great deal, but then Northampton, it feels like the game where he arrived and showed the Orient fans his quality. I think 2 assists and 1 goal shows what he's all about in terms of cutting inside, quick thinking, a couple of deliveries from the corners. He's so comfortable dribbling with the ball. The defenders there, you can tell, they just don't know where he's going to go, whether he's going to chop inside, go outside. That assist there for Shaq with the shot coming inside, and then also just the quick thinking here to play it, and then also it takes something to get the ball here and put it right in the spot for Rael. Shows the quality he's got, and I'm so impressed with him, considering the fact that this is one of his first real kind of goes at senior football. He's played a lot of under-21s, he had a loan spell in Ireland, but now he's coming in and playing EFL football week in, week out, and if he keeps on carrying doing that, it's just going to be a real smart bit of recruitment from this Orient recruitment team.
He certainly has impressed, and you mentioned his name just a second ago, but Rael Sotiriou, 2 goals off the bench. Richie said in his interview that he loves him as a substitute, which must be hard for Rael to...
I don't think it was what he wanted to hear, did it?
Yeah. Obviously not, but if you can come off the bench and score 2 goals every week and win the game for your team, hey, he's got that in his locker, hasn't he, Rael? He's a great finisher.
It is a great finisher, yeah. Works hard as well. Like you said, I don't think it's what he wanted to hear. I think that it was a compliment from the gaffer, to be honest, but I don't think Solly took it like that because he wants to play every minute of every game, but who doesn't? But yeah, you're right, he can be very effective coming off the bench, very effective. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in a team on the pitch and seeing Rael come on at 70 minutes. It's the last thing I'd want, because I think the chances are he's probably going to score here. But at the same time, he's scored quite a lot of goals this season. He started off really well, so I think in his head he wants to, I think he'll probably be gutted that he's not starting today after coming on and scoring 2 goals. But that's what you need. It's a winner's mindset, and that's what the manager wants. He wants a dressing room full of players that want to play every minute of every game and be competitive. And now we have quite a fair bit of competition for places in those forward places. And if you play well, you keep your shirt. And Sully needs to just come on and score 2 goals again today and be knocking at his door and say, look, what more do you want me to do? And I think I've had a little word with him, to be honest, before the game, just saying get your head around it and do what you do what you do best when you come out on the pitch today. Because if he's got that hunger, which he does, then I think he can go all the way to the top. There's no stopping him.
Well, there is competition, especially in those striking places, as Dan Adu-Aji and Gaughan Edwards also made their professional men's debut on Tuesday night. And we caught up with Gaughan as he starts again this afternoon, but we're going to get his thoughts ahead of today's game.
And fast forward to Tuesday now. Tell us what went through your mind when the gaffer said to you, right, Gaughan, you're starting tonight.
It was mixed emotions. I was happy. I was very happy, but I was a little bit nervous as well. But I think nerves is, when it's your first start, it's due to happen. But I felt like I played with a smile on my face and gave it all I could.
And how much did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and hopefully on Saturday, if I get the opportunity, I can show the gaffer again.
And what do you see this loan spell as being for you? Do you feel like coming off the pitch Tuesday, you've learned a lot about yourself?
Yeah, I have. I've learned that I've actually got a good character, because I could have easily have went into my shell and tried to not be myself. But I felt like when I got on the pitch, all the nerves just went after 5 minutes, and I was just myself.
It was obviously a crazy end to the game. You were off the pitch by the time the late drama happened, but did you come off the pitch, based on what you just said a moment ago, feeling quite proud of yourself?
Yeah, I felt very proud. Obviously seeing my family as well, they were happy. If my family are happy, I'm always going to be happy.
So who did you have with you from your family on Tuesday?
Mum, dad, uncles, brother and sister.
And what have they all said to you since the game?
Yeah, they're just proud of me and just telling me to keep my head down and just keep working hard. And every opportunity I get, just take.
Brilliant stuff there from Gaughan, and hopefully he can open his goal scoring account for the O's this afternoon. But now you might have seen that there's a special deal running at the moment, and you can get your hands on a Puma quarter zip in any of the Orient colours, and there's 10% off in store and online. The offer is available while stocks last, and you can take advantage of it right now. And now they're moving on, because kickoff is very fastly approaching, but we've got to take a look at this story. Theo Archibald spoke to Rainbow's Chris Knight, head of the LGBTQ plus awareness week. It was a fantastic interview, and let's see a short clip of it now.
So Chris, thanks for coming in. Of course, it's LGBTQ History Month this month. And yeah, we just wanted to have a sit down and find out your experience as an Orient fan. So firstly, what does LGBTQ History Month mean to you?
Thanks for having me, and it's good to see the club doing it. I think it just means it's a good time, I guess, to reflect on what has come before, and I think it's good to look at how much progress we've made, but also it's a really good month, I think, to look at what still needs to be done, and then use them stories and people and ideas and movements from the past to try and then think about how we can keep improving going forward.
Absolutely. Who are some people, or are there any moments in LGBT history that you value? Yeah,
I think maybe outside of football, I guess there's the classic Stonewall riots, there's the things like the initial Pride marches, the Pride movements, like Marsha B. Johnson and stuff, the sort of trans activists who started the Pride movement, that are really important. That I think we always think about at this time of month. And then I think in football, it's obviously there's less, especially in the male game, there's less people, I guess, to look out for. But I think in the female game, I take a lot of inspiration from people like Sam Kerr, people like Lucy Bronze, people who are playing football at a really high elite level and feel comfortable being out and being themselves.
Yeah. What's it like being LGBTQ today in society?
I think scary right now. Again, there's lots of good stuff. The fact that things like this happen, and I think it's a lot better for a lot of people. But I think, especially for maybe trans people, I think it's quite scary at the moment, to be honest.
I mean, I guess on that, what experiences have you had at football games, for example, being a part of LGBTQ?
I think it's interesting. It's very easy to hide. I think for a long time I wasn't out in football at all. 10 years ago, the idea of me doing something like this would have been terrifying, and never would have done it at all. So, and a lot of the reason for that was hearing homophobic abuse, not aimed at me particularly, but aimed at other fans, aimed at opposition players, sometimes even aimed at your own players who you're meant to be supporting, and feeling like, if they're willing to shout at that at someone who they'll travel to Carlisle to go and watch, they're not gonna like me if I'm out and stuff. So yeah, but also a lot of really positive stuff. Like when I did start coming out, a lot of my friends and family really supportive, and yeah, generally really positive, but also some tinged with some negativity.
Top stuff there from Theo and Chris on a really important issue, and you can watch the full version of that over on the club's YouTube channel. And also it does look as though when I hang up my boots, I think we've got a natural replacement in the shape of Theo Archibald to do this. But anyway, moving on, and of course don't forget there's just under 5 minutes to go until kick-off, or just over in fact, so you can head over to the Match Centre now to pick up your audio or streaming passes to watch along this here on Orient Live. That website is on screen now, but the clock is ticking and kickoff is very nearly upon us, so let's take a look at the visiting side as it's Burton Albion who are coming to E10 to try and cause an upset this afternoon. And in goal for the Brewers is number 1 Max Crocombe. You have number 2 in the captain John Brayford, 6 Ryan Sweeney, number 7 Joe Powell, 11 Mason Bennett, 17 Mark Helm, number 20 Adamola Ola Adebomi, number 23 Talaji Bola, 25 Kieran Gilligan, 37 Tom Hamer, and finally 46 Toto Nsiala. And on the bench is Jamal Blackman, Raheem Harper, Kyle Hudlin, Bobby Camwa, Mustafa Carriol, Finn Dilap and Joe Hugill. So that's how the visiting side are lining up. And now it feels cliche, Brendan, but every game in this league's a tough one. They're scrapping, they're just above the drop zone. What are you expecting from them today?
I think Richie mentioned in his interview the fact that Martin Patterson's come in. It's his first role in first team management, but he was Michael Duff's assistant at both Cheltenham and Barnsley, and he's looked to kind of play the similar way, and that is a back five, very strong defensively, a lot of physical players, hard working, and really capitalise on set pieces. So it's going to be a tough one, but a winnable game considering they're down there.
Let's take a look at their goals very quickly before we head over, because we just get a little sense of what they're about. And it's hard, I guess, with new management and whatnot, Jordan, but they look like a team who can still score a goal or two, and Orient is still going to have to work hard this afternoon. Yeah, for sure. I don't think they're going to be the type of team that comes here. I mean, I didn't play too many minutes in the reverse fixture, but from what I remember, they didn't want to try and play out from the back too much. You know, they tried to get the ball long. They tried to cause problems physically. Wanted to run in behind. And I imagine, even though the management's changed, I think a lot of the players are pretty still similar. Just looking at the team sheet that you just read out, so I think they'll probably play a similar style of football. They'll come here. They'll want to be direct. So I think there'll be a big job for Beckles and for Brandon today at the back to try and stop their long ball threat. I think a lot of the game for them, they want to play aerially, especially against Orient away, because I think they know how we'll want to play. We'll want to be getting the ball down and try and play through them. So I feel like they're coming here to make it tough, but I think it's nothing that we haven't faced before, and hopefully we can get 3 points. A big physical side, Brendan, will be even bigger and probably even more physical with Kyle Hudlin, who's I think 7'3", comes off the bench. Are you expecting this one to be a battle today?
Yeah, every game in League One's a battle. You've got to earn your right to play, but ultimately if we can play our game, keep the ball on the deck and move through the thirds, I think we can win it. Well,
it's time for kick-off then, as both sets of players are making their way out onto the turf here at the Gaughan Group Stadium. So let's hand over now to our match commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Gaughan Group Stadium, Brisbane Road, for what should be a fascinating afternoon. Richie Wellens' side have made light of the injuries that they've experienced throughout the campaign. Never once has the O's boss been able to field his strongest or settled side. It's given the opportunity for youngsters to prove their worth, and the young guns have done it in style. And this afternoon they're looking to make it 4 straight wins in front of the faithful for the first time since December 2022, but it's going to be tough against a Burton Albion side who've certainly hit form since Martin Patterson took charge in January, and they gained their first away victory in 14 attempts last weekend at Bristol Rovers. 2 changes, Matt Hiscock, for the O's. Are you surprised that Rossiturio is on the bench after those 2 goals he scored against the Cobblers on that fantastic Tuesday night, one that we'll never forget?